My ex-girlfriend is the biggest liar I have ever known. Red flags are easily ignored, when rose-colored shades blind all the things we should see as colossal warning signs. I feel like an idiot. This is my story. From November 2018 through April 2020. I, 29 male, met my ex-girlfriend, 26 female, in November 2018. We hit it off immediately and had this impeccable chemistry that I have never had with another person before in my life. We could turn a 5-minute conversation into a 6-hour marathon of different topics, without ever running out of steam. We fell hard for one another, fairly quickly. Honeymoon stage or not, the chemistry was off the charts quickly, and it wasn't long before we could practically read each other's thoughts, and finish each other's sentences to the point of being uncanny. However, there was a big WTF moment early on, that I was too ignorant to yield much of my attention to. Look, I don't have kids yet. I want kids. However, I just haven't found the right person to settle down with. I mention this, because of what happened. I digress. Anyway, the WTF moment, she was separated from her estranged husband, who she had a son with. Before this guy, she had a daughter with another man 7 years ago. She told me that she had always felt disconnected from her kids. I don't know why this didn't push me away immediately. Too much oxytocin in my brain? I'm not sure. Months later, she told me that I'm the love of her life, and the greatest thing that has ever happened to her. Telling me that she wants kids with me, that I'm the person she was always meant to be with, and that she never felt anywhere close to anyone else the way she feels for me. Backstory of her estranged husband: he is 13 years older than her. Apparently her sister-in-law babysat her when she was a kid, and there's a photo exists of her then teenage husband holding her when she was a baby. Cringe. He has a daughter that is only 5 or 6 years younger than her. Anyway, she told me that he was mentally and emotionally abusive, locked her up in the bedroom of their home, found out that she had posted on the Gone Wild sub before they met and yelled at her over it, lectured her for watching videos on public freakout, would become so angry to the point of throwing bar stools through a glass door, multiple times, and other things. She said, and I quote, "I feel nothing for him. We have nothing in common. He kind of pushed me into marriage by rushing things along. I was going to break up with him early in our relationship, but around that time his dad died, and I felt guilty about it, so we stayed together. I got pregnant, and then we got married." She told me the divorce was in the process, and that she had a rocky relationship with her father. She said that her father wanted her to stay with her husband, the stay for the kids mentality, and that he was funding the husband with the whole divorce side of things. Anyhow, our relationship was seemingly perfect. She maintained close contact with her sister-in-law through it all. During this time, my ex was living with a roommate in an apartment. Eventually, she half moved in with me. It was strange, because she would stay here for a large majority of the time, leaving a bunch of her clothes and some of her belongings here, and then go back to her apartment. I visited her often during these times. At one point, she switched jobs and didn't tell me. You can grade the severity of this lie, but it was weird. Who switches jobs and doesn't tell their significant other? Another red flag ignored. When I confronted her, her excuse was, "I didn't tell you because I didn't think you would be happy for me." WTF? Yeah, I don't know what I was thinking. In October 2019, one weekend, a 3-day one at that, she said she was going to go visit her dad. In the week that followed, I looked at her dad's social media page and he had not posted any photos/selfies of them. This was unusual, because anytime she did go and see her dad, regardless of their alleged conflict, he would always post about it. This time, he didn't. I didn't say anything about it, but I had a weird feeling about the whole thing. About a month later, I was digging around social media, and I happened to look at her sister-in-law's page. She posted a photo of the two of them meeting at some pizza restaurant with the caption, "Eating some pizza with my awesome sister-in-law." Weird. Still calling you her sister-in-law despite the impending divorce. I immediately confronted her the next time I saw her, and asked her why she lied about going to visit her sister-in-law. She apologized profusely and told me that she thought it would upset me if she knew that she had stayed with her for the weekend. I thought it was a crock of ish from the get-go, the excuse, but I let it go, begrudgingly. By this point, I had developed trust issues, but I was so blinded by my own ignorance and feelings. Guess what happened around a week before Christmas 2019? You know how I said that her father always posted about any time they were together? I saw on his social media, a selfie of him, her, and her husband, smiling. I lost my mind and flipped out on her. She got angry and defensive, and told me that she had to play nice with her husband to see her son. Remember what I said about her comments about feeling disconnected from her kids? I should have told her to go F herself and left immediately. The lies were right in front of me. She is the biggest liar I have ever met in my life, the most dishonest person, but she is a terrible liar. I didn't leave though. I wanted to believe her. But everything felt off. 2020 started off great, until the pandemic happened. She started getting a little cold towards me and talked about how much she missed her kids. This was in March. In early April, one day I woke up to a text from her that said, "Please never talk to me again. I was wrong for being with you. I need to fix my life." I was then blocked everywhere. I tried to get in contact with her. Nothing. I contacted her roommate, who told me that she moved out. She still had some clothes at my place, as well as different toiletry items, etc. Keep in mind that I had been sick as a dog during this time, not COVID, just sick. She ghosted me while I was sick in the middle of a global pandemic. I snooped around and couldn't find anything on her social media, even on her husband's social media. Her father had not posted anything either. I felt a mix of extreme sadness and full-blown rage and anger. In May, still trying to find answers, I saw it. She was living 3 hours away. With her estranged husband. She commented on some video of him doing some dumbass faux comical dance and wrote, "You have a cute butt, love you." I'm not usually an angry person. I'm easygoing, laid back, roll with the punches of life even during the most down of times, but I fell into an incandescent rage of a mess. I wrote her an email that said, "You destroyed me. Congratulations. You are the most dishonest human being I have ever had the misfortune of meeting. Have fun in your pathetic excuse of a marriage." I also noticed that she set up a little shop on Etsy selling crafts and other things that she makes. She moved on so swiftly, so easily. As far as I'm concerned, she is a sociopath to be able to do something like that. She moved on from me, as if I never meant anything, and as if I'm the biggest joke in all of mankind. Now I wonder if any of the things she said about the abuse she went through, is even true. I have been a mess ever since. I feel like an idiot from the get-go. I wasted all of 2019 and the first few months of 2020. Don't be like me. My self-confidence and self-worth are shattered. I can't help but blame myself, since I didn't break up with her with so many red flags staring me right in the face. I have never been this low before in my entire life. She has moved on like I never existed, as if she didn't throw me away in the most savage of ways in the type of year this has been. How do I recover from this? What do I do? How do I fix my head? Can't afford therapy at this time. I'm left to try and right my mind on my own. But it is hard. I feel so low about myself. I have always been in quite decent physical condition and I continue to work out 4 times a week. I'm a chef and my personal diet consists of 95% whole foods from nutritionally dense sources, only occasionally eating junk as a treat. However, now 6 months later, I'm still a wreck and I still feel so much anger. Most of the anger is directed towards myself for being so stupid to the point of ignoring red flags. I have tried to be more kind to myself, but I almost can't help it. I have no self-confidence whatsoever. I tried to be the best partner that I could be. I wasn't clingy or needy. I was supportive, and did my best to love her fully. And she went back to that? After all that she said? Her life is one big lie. She will cheat again in the future, I'm sure of it. She is the one who lost out on someone special in her life, but aside from self-hatred, why do I feel so full of anger and sadness after all this time? I just don't know what else to say. Now for the top comments. You should focus on yourself. You deserve to give yourself time and appreciation and reflection. I know it may be tough right now, especially on behalf of quarantine. You will eventually come to terms with the fact that none of this was your fault, and that you came out of it with no extra ties to her, like children or marriage. It doesn't feel like it now, but you came out of it a winner because you are no longer with someone like her and you can now understand the red flags that people like her are embedded with. Thank you, friend. I'm very thankful I did not wind up in a marriage, and have kids with her. I'm not sure my mental health would have survived so well, especially imagining her deserting our hypothetical child, the way she did with her 2 children she already has. Makes me sick to my stomach just imagining that scenario. I'm left with, hopefully, short-term mental health disruption from this, but I do realize the emotional impact could have been much deeper, considering the possibilities that were avoided. All cheaters have a sociopathic quality, clearly. To even entertain cheating, is so selfish. I'm someone who has an immense sensitivity to guilt, so I just don't understand how people can F over someone who loves them, all nonchalantly. That's why my rule is to not date anyone with kids or not single. It's just asking for trouble, and I don't want any exes involved in any relationship. If she lied about the abuse from her estranged husband the whole time and he is actually a decent person, I feel bad for him. She is apparently his fourth wife. Regardless of all the intangibles, that marriage is a tainted joke forever, given her actions. They both throw money at lawyers and she still went back to him. Cheated on 2 people, and truly emotionally hurt her own children in the process. No expressed remorse whatsoever. No closure. Nothing. I always said I'd never date anyone with kids and that she was the exception, but I don't know now. Now I'm getting older and, at this point, I just wanted to meet someone that is honest and faithful, even if the chemistry isn't perfect. Chemistry means F all. If one's partner is a worthless cheater, which has not become concrete to me. As I've struggled to get through my wife's lies and infidelities over the last 2 years, I've been repeatedly told, this is about her problems and issues, it's not really about you. And, of course, you spend hours, weeks, months thinking about what you could have done differently, replaying the entire relationship and trying to figure out how to make it better. And you can. Of course, it is easier to see other people's problems clearly. So, I can say this after reading your post, this isn't you at all. This is about her and her sociopathic lying and messed up life, period. It is so abundantly clear, that nothing you could have done differently would have mattered. Nothing. This isn't about you at all. It may seem like it because you were in the middle of it, but she was just doing her, and you were collateral damage. I'm sorry that it happened to you. Like everyone says here, there is a degree of narcissism and sociopathic behavior in all our deceivers, and yours is certainly one of them that exhibits that in a really big way. Repeat to yourself, it's not about you, it never was, for as many months as necessary. For me, it's going on over a year and I still need to say it to myself on a daily basis. Now for the next story. My 28 male girlfriend, 26 female, kissed another man, but wants us to stay together. This could be the last in a series of events that is telling me our relationship should end, but I don't know what to do. A few days ago, my partner kissed someone else, and told me today in a letter/Word doc she sent to me. I don't feel like this would be a relationship-ending thing for me, if it wasn't for some other factors. By the way, we have been together for close to 5 years. I'll spare you the details, but in this letter, she says that she loves me more than anything, but feels some sort of resentment towards me, but has realized it as a result of her projecting her own issues onto me, something that became very clear to her when she kissed this other person. This is all her words. She doesn't want to break up and wants to work through this together. She has always been very critical and nitpicky of me. However, this is something we have openly discussed, but I feel has ebbed and flowed in terms of how stressed she is. Now she is saying this kiss has shown her the reason why. To me, this is completely out of the blue, as our relationship has been really good recently, despite me moving to another city that is 2.5 hours away. We see each other most weeks and our communication is in a good place, or so I thought. The thing is, I'm getting deja vu about this whole situation. About 2 years ago she randomly booked flights to another country to live there for a year, without discussing anything with me, and when she told me about it, she said didn't want me to come. She said she was unhappy with her job, life in general, and didn't know if she wanted us to break up or stay together while she was away. I said I wanted to stay together, but it would be hard for me. Obviously I was heartbroken by all this. Anyway, as the months went on and her departure date came closer, she became more and more adamant that she wanted us to stay together no matter what. She even then said, she really wanted me to come and live overseas with her. I of course said no, because it wasn't something we discussed together, and I had absolutely no say in the decision. Anyway, long story short, we stayed together. She made the decision to come home after 6 months, her decision not mine. But despite this, it was all a really terrible and stressful experience for me. I feel this new situation echoes that past one. She wants us to stay together, but I just feel like something like this will happen over and over again. She hates being in one place or one situation, and constantly needs to be moving on to the next thing that will make her happy, which may have something to do with this. She will often focus on this and not think about how it could impact me. The first time, I thought it could be an issue with me, so I also worked really hard on myself and tried to establish very open channels of communication between us. But in this letter she has straight up admitted I am not the problem. I do know I am not perfect, but I'm reasonable and understanding and have been overall a pretty great partner. She is truly a very nice, caring and compassionate person, and would never do anything to intentionally hurt me. I can't really imagine my life without her, and she has made me the person I am today. But I think a lot of this is me being scared of the new and scared of being on my own. What do? I kind of think this is maybe signaling we should end things, and that will be better for the both of us in the long run. Now for the top advice. Once, when I was young and stupid, I was in a long-distance relationship and got drunk at a bar. I ended up kissing a girl that night. I knew my relationship was already over at that point, and it turned out she was cheating on me anyway. This is just an anecdotal story, but now that I am older, more mature, and well-adjusted, I could not imagine doing this to my SO. This is what real love and devotion is like. I think something is making her very unhappy in her life, and considering how she seems to treat you most of the time, I would advise you to seriously consider ending the relationship. You deserve better. Thanks. This is the sort of advice I'm after. I'm going to give it a day or two and then decide what to do, but I'm leaning towards ending it. By kissing another guy, she broke your trust and obviously doesn't respect you. Who's to say she won't do it in the future? Regardless if it's just a kiss, it's cheating. If she loved or respected you enough, she wouldn't even dream of doing it. I'd break up. I think you need to serve her some of her own medicine. Really get that toxicity up there. Text her the following: "We need to talk." Don't forget the ellipses, and then turn off your phone and block her on everything for a month. In all seriousness, your girlfriend doesn't respect you, nor is she interested in considering your needs. She has some growing up to do. It's time to cut the cord. You deserve better. Thanks for commenting. In our everyday relationship, she is pretty considerate of my needs, but then blindsides me with stuff like this. But yep, I'm leaning towards cutting the cord. Now for the last story. She lied about being pregnant, and is now really pregnant. I, 25 male, broke up with my ex, 25 female, 3.5 months ago. We had been together for 2 years, and I just fell out of love with her and it was getting stagnant. She called me like 3 weeks after we broke up, to tell me she had taken a ton of pregnancy tests and they were all positive. I freaked out, because there was no way. I'm always careful. She texts me a picture of 5 positive tests. I call her back, and we decide to meet up the next day and talk about everything. I had her take a pregnancy test while I was at her place, but did not see her physically take it, but saw the positive result. We end up hanging out all that week and next discussing options. I really was pushing for her to get a termination, which she eventually agrees to. We end up having unprotected sex the night before her termination, because I figure she's already pregnant. She lied and told me she got a termination, but for some reason didn't want me to go when I offered. I find out from a friend of ours this crazy witch was never pregnant the first time, but now is actually pregnant with my child. She pre-planned all this stuff. She had a pregnant friend pee on a bunch of sticks for her because she didn't want to lose me. I'm at a loss for words on what to do now. I do not want a child with her, and I do not want to be in her life for the foreseeable future. Something is very wrong with her. I've never seen this crazy side of her. Now she won't return any of my calls, which is all the confirmation I need that she truly is pregnant, plus texts our friend showed me about how we're going to have a family together and she's going to make me love her again, and all this sick crap. Now for the top advice. If she goes ahead with this, make sure you're the father, consult a lawyer, and keep communication limited to handling child support or custody issues. In 18 years, you'll be free of your legal responsibilities. Hopefully she's lying again. Don't be alone with her ever again. Stop having unprotected sex. Dad, try to make it clear that you'll fulfill your legal obligations, but there is zero chance of a relationship. Not even friendship. If you don't intend on being in the child's life, make that clear as well, before it's too late to terminate. Maybe the prospect of raising the child alone will knock some sense into her. Yes, lawyer up and have the lawyer send her a notice that she's only allowed to communicate with you through them. Hopefully that'll get it to stick that you'll be nowhere near her or the child, so her mental image of a family is over. Stop sticking your D in crazy. But since hopefully you have figured that one out on your own now, get a lawyer involved now, so that you're prepared for when the baby is here in terms of custody arrangement and child support. Ensure you keep any and all communication recorded, and keep your expectations fair if you want a judge to be reasonable. And that's it for this video guys. If you have thoughts to share, leave a comment below. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you like this content. Turn the notification on to get updated on my latest posts. I'll catch you in the next one. Good day everyone.